Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea. If you are new, thank you guys so much for stopping by. So today's video is going to be 20 family holiday traditions. Now, I do celebrate Christmas, so these traditions kind of go around the Christmas holiday. The ideas pertain to that. But I think that you could do this for any other celebration that you partake in. I think most of these will be appropriate for that. I have a son who is 18 months old, and I decided this year that it was really important for us to start some family traditions. Last year I felt like he was a little bit too young to really understand or be able to partake in those traditions. So I didn't really start anything last year, aside from like stuffing his stockings and his stocking and things like that. So this year I really wanted to start some family traditions since he is a little bit older and kind of understands things a little bit better. So let's go ahead and jump right into 20 holiday family traditions. So the first one, and I think this is the most obvious idea or thought when you think of family traditions, is doing a advent calendar. So this year I actually did go to Five Below and I picked up my son an advent calendar. Since he's really into cars right now, I decided to pick him up this one. So it is a Cars advent calendar, and of course it has 24 chocolates that they can pick out November 1st till Christmas Eve. So I think he'll really enjoy this, plus you get a treat every night, so that's an awesome thing to look forward to, especially for a kid. Kind of going on that thought though, you can also do a book advent. As most of you have probably seen or heard of, what you can do, you can wrap 24 books, and each night you can give a book to your child or let them pick out of the stack which book they would like to open. So it's kind of the same thought, except for instead of chocolate every night, they're getting a book. So I think this is a good idea, especially for toddlers and younger children who still really are into, reading books every night before bed. I think this is a really good idea for them. So I think we probably will start this tradition next year when my son is 2, because I think he'll appreciate it a little bit more. Right now he just kind of he likes for us to read books to him, but he's not like super into it, and he doesn't really sit still long enough to finish the book. So I think next year it'll be a little bit better and more appropriate for him to enjoy that. So number 2 is making gingerbread houses. It's pretty self-explanatory, and me and my sisters, this is a tradition that we have done for as long as I can remember. Even when I lived in Virginia and would drive down to South Carolina for Christmas, I would always either bring a gingerbread house or we would go and pick out one together, and we would always sit around the table and build it together, and it was just something fun, and it was like a bonding experience for us, and it was a lot of fun, and those memories are very special to me now. So I'm definitely looking forward to making a gingerbread house with my son this year. And to kind of go along on that thought, you could do like a family gingerbread contest. One of my friends here on YouTube, her name is Carrie, her and her family, they just did a little gingerbread contest, and I think that's a really good idea, especially if you have older kids. Obviously if you have a baby, it's kind of hard to do that, but when your kids are a little bit older, then they can actually build their own gingerbread houses, and you guys can kind of have like a little competition, like friendly family competition, and just kind of see like who made the best gingerbread house or who was the most creative. So I really like that idea too. So okay, so number 3 is hiding the big presents or doing like a treasure hunt. I really like this idea, and obviously I think it's better to do it when you have older kids, but on Christmas Eve you can take all their big presents, like maybe their biggest present or a couple of their bigger presents, and hide them in the house or in the yard or whatever, depending on the weather, of course, and then give them little clues or just have them run free and try to find the presents. And I think that is like a really cool, exciting idea. Kind of spruce up the typical mundane, just here's your present, open it up, that. I think that's a really neat idea, and I think it would make for a very fun Christmas tradition and something for the kids to look forward to all year long. Number 4 is cut down your own Christmas tree. Now, as you can see here, I have a fake Christmas tree. I always said that once I had kids, I would buy a real Christmas tree every year, and that would be kind of like a family tradition for us. So when my kids are older, I think the idea of going and cutting down a Christmas tree might be more appealing to them. So I think that might be something that we might, you know, look into in the future as a family tradition. But I always wanted to do that when I was a kid. My parents always got a real Christmas tree, but we just would go down to the local Christmas tree corner guy or whatever, and we would just pick out a Christmas tree together as a family. And I really did love that as well, but in my little baby heart, I always wanted to go and cut down a Christmas tree, which kind of sounds crazy, and like as a parent, it doesn't sound that fun, but I think just once in your life you should probably experience something like that. So if that's a family tradition that you have, leave me a comment down below and let me know how that works out for you and your family. Number 5 is to take a picture as a family in front of your Christmas tree every year. So when I say as a family, I mean like you, your husband, or your wife, and your children. That way you can kind of see how you grow and change over the years. And I think that would be something really fun, like when your kids are older, to make them a scrapbook and give it to them as a Christmas gift one year. I'm pretty sure that we did this last year, but at the time I wasn't thinking of it as a tradition. So it'll be kind of neat to see how much we all have changed and grown over the last year. That is definitely something that I will be doing from here on out with my children. Number 6 is bake Christmas cookies. So this is kind of one of those generic ideas too, but I feel like a lot of families do this, and I think when you include your kids, like, it is a lot of fun for them, and it is a tradition that I definitely will be partaking in. As I said, my son is 18 months old, so he can't really do a lot of the baking and things like that, but we plan to make gingerbread cookies, and I definitely want to give him a little freedom and let him decorate his own cookie, because I think he would really enjoy that. And it would make for, you know, a cute memory to look back on as a family. So number 7 is to do a family interview on Christmas Eve. So I was going through Pinterest trying to get some original ideas, things I hadn't heard of before, and I came across this idea. And basically what you would do is every Christmas Eve, you, your spouse, and your children would kind of just do a little family interview, just ask each other questions. What are your interests? What are your hobbies? How tall are you? You know, things like that. And it's just a little something to look back on when your children are grown. And I really like this idea. I don't know, I don't think we'll obviously be partaking in it this year, just because my son is still not completely talking yet, so it'd be kind of hard to interview him. But I really like this idea, and I think it's really original. I think that we will revisit this in the future. Number 8 is to go shopping with your children for a gift for a less fortunate child. When I was growing up, my church would do a shoebox gift, or I can't remember exactly what they called it, but I think a lot of churches do this and a lot of organizations do this. But you go to the facility, you pick up what they have, looks like a shoebox, and you just fill it up with toys and games and socks or whatever. They have specific requirements as to what you can and cannot put in there. But we used to do this as a family, and I remember just thinking, like, just imagining being that child opening up that gift on Christmas when they have nothing. I just think that that is really selfless, and it just shows your child how to think of others and think of people who are less fortunate. And it also gives them the opportunity to learn how to share, because I know especially for younger kids, when they pick out a bunch of toys, they think that the toys are theirs, and so they want to take them home, they want to open them, they want to play with them. But this kind of shows them, like, hey, this is a gift. You're going to be giving it to a child who doesn't have all the toys and all the things that you have. So it's kind of, you know, in the spirit of giving, which is what the holidays are really all about. It's just showing them that side of things and kind of just getting them in that mindset. And I think that's really important to instill in your children. So I think this is a really good idea, and I definitely plan on doing this with my kids or my son when he gets just a little bit older and can really understand and appreciate what it means to get. Number 9 is to camp out in front of the Christmas tree. Now, I'm pretty sure that me and my sisters did this when they were younger, but I definitely want to do this. Now, I don't think I'll do it on Christmas Eve just because that's when Santa comes and we don't want to be up in the way when Santa comes, you know. But I think maybe like one night, like one weekend night during December, we can just pick a night and everyone get their sleeping bags or make little pallets in the floor and just sleep under the Christmas tree, watch Christmas movies, you know, keep it lit if it's safe to do so. I just think that's a neat little tradition, and I definitely look forward to doing that with my son. Number 10 is to booby trap your kid's door, and they have to break through it on Christmas morning. I love this idea. I think it is so original. I think it is so fun. I've seen parents do this for their kids on their birthday, but I've never heard of any parents doing this on Christmas. So I would definitely want to do this for my kids because I just think it's so fun, and just anything that's out of the ordinary and out of the mundane, like I am all about it. So I definitely want to do this as soon as my son is old enough to really understand and appreciate it. We will definitely be participating in this Christmas tradition. So number 11 is giving your family matching pajamas on December 1st. Now, I know a lot of families do this on Christmas Eve. I personally don't understand the point of waiting till Christmas Eve because then you wear them for one night and you don't really get good use out of them, or you end up wearing them after Christmas, which is totally fine because we're still wearing our Halloween stuff, let's be honest. But I think it would be neat. That could be like, you know, an introduction into the Christmas holiday on December 1st. They can open their first little gift and they can get their holiday jammies. And then on Christmas Eve, you can take a picture in front of the tree, or, you know, just standing with in your matching pajamas as a family, just to have that memory to look back on. But I like the idea of doing the Christmas jammies on December 1st, so that way they get good use out of them and they can wear them all season long. Okay, number 12 is to attend your town's Christmas parade or tree lighting ceremony. Now, we have a lot of little towns around us where we live, and most of them do a Christmas parade and or a tree lighting ceremony. So we definitely plan on attending quite a few of those this Christmas season, and I always look forward to the Christmas parade in our town. Ever since I was a little girl, my whole entire family would all get together and go watch the Christmas parade. That is just such a sweet memory for me to look back on. Like, we've done it years and years and years. Last year was actually, I think, the first year that we did not do it, sadly, and we probably won't do it this year. So I want to start a new tradition with my family, and we're going to go to the parades, and we're going to go to a tree lighting ceremony. And I think my son will love it because he is obsessed with trucks, and they always have a fire truck with Santa, and I think that'll just be a really fun thing for us to participate in. Number 13 is to read the story of Jesus. I'm a Christian, and I plan to raise my son as a Christian, and to me, Jesus really is the reason for the season. So I think it's very important to share the story of Jesus with your children, help them understand why we have this holiday. You know, everyone gets so tied up in Christmas presents and decorating, and sometimes we often forget what the real reason of celebration is. So I think it would be neat to read the story of Jesus, like on Christmas Eve, before you have dinner or after you have dinner, just as a family tradition, so your kids don't forget what the real reason is. Number 15 is to hop in the car and go look at Christmas lights. I used to live for this as a kid. I definitely want to do this as a tradition for our family. I want to go around and look at all the Christmas lights because I always love doing that, and I just think it's so pretty and so fun, and it's simple, and it's virtually free. You're paying for your gas, that's about it, and it's something for you guys to look forward to as a family, and something you can kind of do just to get everybody in the holiday spirit. So that's definitely a tradition that we will be continuing on because I did this as a kid and I always loved it. Number 15 is to write a letter or mail a gift to troops overseas. Even if it's just a card or a little note. What is happening in the background? I have a Christmas movie playing in the background, but you can't really even see what's going on. So, but I really like this idea because, again, it shows your kid how to be selfless and care about others, and you're giving to someone who, while it may not be their family and their loved ones, it's just showing them kindness because they are, you know, protecting our country. Number 16 is doing a Christmas Eve or night before Christmas box. I really like this because it's something fun that you guys can do as a family. So what you would do is you would just take a shoebox or some kind of box that you can fill things with, and you would put like hot chocolate, popcorn, candy. I've also seen people put movies in there, or a little note saying, I want to watch The Grinch this year, I want to watch It's a Wonderful Life this year, or whatever movie that you and your family want to watch. And it's just something, again, for the kids to look forward to, and they get to open something on Christmas Eve, which growing up, my mom always let us open a gift on Christmas Eve, and I always loved that and looked forward to it. So this is kind of two birds, one stone. They can open their Christmas Eve or night before Christmas box, and you can fill it with all kinds of fun little goodies. You can even put a board game in there. Just anything any activity or anything that you want to do on Christmas Eve, this would be a good opportunity for that. Number 17 is writing a letter to Santa. This is also a very popular Christmas tradition. A lot of kids do this. I think it's a really fun, exciting thing for kids to sit there and write out what they want for Christmas and like mail it off to Santa. I even think that there's an address that you can actually mail it to for your kids. So that's always fun and exciting, like being able to put something in the mailbox and send it off. And this is a cute tradition to do with your kids every year. Plus, you get some ideas for what they might want for Christmas. You know, whatever Santa doesn't bring them. Number 18 is having a Christmas movie marathon. So this could be a Christmas Eve idea, or it could be any time throughout the month of December, up until Christmas, of course, where you sit down as a family and just binge watch every Christmas movie you can possibly find. I love this idea. I always love watching Christmas movies every year, whether they're cartoon or whatever, Hallmark, whatever. I love Christmas movies, so I think it would be really fun to sit down as a family and just order Chinese food and bake some cookies and just plop down on the couch and just have a fun family night. Number 19 is to volunteer at a food pantry. Now, I would suggest doing this with your older kids. I don't think it would be appropriate for younger kids, but volunteering your time during the holidays, I think, is something that everyone should try to do. I know it's not always possible and it's not always ideal with everything being so busy and so stressful, but taking time out of your own day and your own life to help others is probably the most precious gift that you can give. And I think it would be really special to share that with your kids. So I think having that as a family tradition would be really good. And last, but certainly not least, is go to Disney. I know that this is not always possible for everyone to visit Disney every year. My cousin and his family, they try to go every year around Christmas. I would love to take my family and go around Christmas because of all the decorations and all the fun things that they do. But if you are able to go to Disney during the holidays, like, I would highly recommend it, because I just think it's so fun and so pretty and so special that you and your family can experience that. I know it's not practical for every family to go to Disney every year around Christmas, but if you're able to, I think it's a really fun and special holiday tradition. Alright, y'all, so that concludes my list of 20 unique and traditional holiday traditions that you can start with your family. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. If you have any traditions that I did not talk about in this list, drop me a line down below and let me know what traditions your family does for the holidays. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are new. Give me a big ol' like, and I will catch y'all in my next one.